Hi, I'm Allison,
Hello, I'm Japheth.
and this is the sixth and final episode of Existing. Well, at least the final one on Spotify, but it might be the final one.
It might be the final one, period, because
Yeah.
school's starting soon, so we don't know how busy we'll be.
Yeah, okay, so today's episode is going to be about the pandemic and our quarantine experience. And we're going to focus it more on our school experience because our school just announced that we're not going to be going back to campus this fall semester.
Literally 2 weeks before the payment deadline, y'all.
Yeah, and they have not decreased tuition.
It's a scam. If anything, they increased it.
Yeah, and they charged us before they announced campus is closing. We're not too happy about that.
But anyway, let's take it back to the beginning of quarantine. A nice mid-March, I believe it was.
Mid-March, our spring break.
Yeah.
Wow.
So basically, we were on our spring break. And our spring break was just a week, right?
Yeah, spring break's always a week. Thank you.
Okay. Spring break was a week, and Allison and I decided to move in the weekend, like a weekend before school classes started.
Yeah.
So we moved in like Friday.
Even before that, we were all hanging out in like LA with all of our friends for spring break, and COVID was starting to break out. So like, I mean, nothing was really shut down or anything, but then literally the moment my plane landed in LA, we got an email from our school saying that spring break would be extended for another week because classes were going to get moved to like online. So they needed an extra week to prepare. So all of a sudden, our spring break got extended.
I actually totally forgot about that. But we were hanging out with our friends, and then like everything was fine. Like this was when coronavirus was like a thing, but like here in the state or like in the US, it wasn't like something that everyone was like panicking about and worrying about. Like for some reason it still felt super distant, and like it was just in China and Italy. So we just carried on, regular lives. And then as Allison mentioned, our spring break was extended for a week, and then we moved back the weekend before because we were like, well, let's get everything like prepped, like go grocery shopping.
Because we thought we would still be able to live in our like on-campus housing, even though the classes would be online. So we moved back, and then literally 2 days after, or wait, I don't remember. Like
it was like 2 or 3 days after we moved.
Yeah, 2 or 3 days. It was just literally just me and Japheth. 2 to 3 days after we moved back, we got an email saying that we're getting kicked out. So. Yeah. And we just went grocery shopping.
So the another thing is like I'm an RA, so I was like, okay, they'll probably let me stay because like RA is a job on campus, and people were still like there were still students that were gonna live on campus. So I was like, oh, okay, well I don't think I have that much to worry about. And then in our RA group chat, they're like, oh yeah, RA like they don't really care. Like, RAs are still getting kicked out. Oh, my God. So then I was like, what the heck?
You're like, how am I going to go back home?
Yeah. No, it was in the middle of the week, too. And, like, my family works. So, like, they can't just, like, up and leave, like, work at any time. Yeah. So, like, they had to... It was on a Wednesday when I got picked up. Like, Wednesday at, like, 4 a.m. or something.
I remember that. That was crazy.
It was after. Yeah. And I was like, dang, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how that happened. We got kicked out of our school.
And then for like another month, a little more than a month, we did classes online. How was that for you?
It was so bad. So luckily none of my classes were like Zoom classes where it was mandatory to show up. Like none of them had that. So it was not good for my schedule, but like, I mean, it was nice because I didn't have to like wake up and stuff. But it was really hard because I really like the classroom setting because the way I do my thing is like I focus a lot in class and like participate in class and take notes in class. But then like outside of class, I do nothing of the sort because I have no form of like self-discipline.
I can confirm. I can confirm.
So everything I learn while like I'm in class. So taking the classroom away was like so bad for me because I did not study. I didn't read. I I pretty much didn't do anything to like prepare for any of the exams. Like to me, it felt like I wasn't taking it as seriously. So I mean, I didn't do bad in classes as I didn't do as bad as I thought I would do, considering like the move to online.
Yeah.
But I definitely felt like a big drop in motivation.
I felt that too. The motive. I was like, I suddenly felt like I do not want to be held responsible for any academic like obligations at this point, because I had one class that was a Zoom class, you know, like as you said, like where you have to meet at a certain time as if you were going to class. But the thing is, our professor did not require us to turn on our cameras or our mics. So my class was at 9:30. Literally, my alarm, 9:29. I'd pull up my laptop and then I turn it on just so like my name would show up. And then I, you know, mute everything, of course. Take my laptop to the bathroom, did what I had to do while my professor is lecturing. The thing is, his lecture was so boring. I zoned out so much. And then on top of that, like that class didn't really have like an exam, like a final exam. It was just a final essay, and you didn't need to know everything. Like if you just pay attention to one lecture, you can write the whole paper on like that one lecture. So I was fine. Like our professor, he was like, wow, I love this paper, you made some really profound points. And I was like, I listened to like one lecture. I was also doing the like capstone project class at that time, so I feel like for me finishing that capstone project at home in like a completely different setting was really hard, because also like there's always noise at my house. I feel like it's really hard to get a like quiet study space, because I usually like going to the library or a study room, but at my house the desk I used was like, it didn't have a door, like that room didn't have a door, like it was just kind of like an open area, so it was really hard to study in that sense. And then also like that capstone project, which is like a big research like thesis project, it was hard because I couldn't talk to anyone who knew what I was researching to like get good feedback. Like I would have to reach out like online to someone, and I felt like I was bothering them. But it was hard, but they graded a lot easier. But I got really good grades that last semester, so I'm not that mad at it. Yeah, I think without stuff like reading quizzes or those kind of like daily assignments, I would not have paid attention. We're not going back to campus this fall, and we were looking forward to that because we would finally get to see each other, like all of our friends again. And we were planning like to have like a birthday party for all the summer birthdays that we missed, but that's not happening. And Japheth and I, both of our birthdays are in the fall, so we were gonna have like our 21st birthdays, you know, in person, but I guess not. It's now a Zoom party.
I know. The worst thing is that we're both, or like all of our friends turned 21 this year.
Yeah.
And 21 is like the age that you want to like be with your friends, you know? And now I'm going to spend it at home with my parents.
With my parents and my sister.
I don't want to sound like super like like spoiled or anything, but it's just like,
because okay, of course the pandemic, like solving the pandemic is the main priority, but like I feel like I have nothing to look forward to anymore.
Like I in our last episode, like we talked about, or like I talked about wanting to stream, and here at home I don't have like a room that I could dedicate to like me and like streaming and stuff. So I was really excited to move out because I was like, oh, I'm gonna have like a space for myself to do that. Now I do not. And like it's so funny because when I found out that I wouldn't be moving out, I was telling Allison this, I was so excited because I was like, okay, at least I'm not paying rent, I'm technically not paying for my own food, I'm not paying, like I'm not gonna get a car anymore, so like I don't need to pay for a car anymore. And I was like, I could put all that to my streaming setup or something. And then I realized, wait,
like,
I'm not gonna be doing that anyway. At least we're saving money, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
but my
mental
state, this is taking a hit. Like, it's not like, oh, just because, like, we're living at home with our parents, but it's just living in the same confined space with the same people every day. It's a little hard.
I'm pretty sure, like, other college students can relate to, like, after living on your own for, like, a year or like a long time, coming back to living with your parents is just like
it's hard.
It's just like you feel like you took steps backward.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Like for me, the most independent I was during like study abroad. Like I would literally go out and hang out by myself because I was like, I can't wait for anybody to like have a free schedule. Going from that and then going home for a little bit and then going back to school and then this extreme. Now we're in this like extreme where we have like very little independence. It's hard.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's not like, or I don't consider my parents super duper strict. Like, I don't have to tell my parents whenever I go out, but like, it's kind of an expectation.
Yeah, same, yeah.
So like, even the, and when we were living like at school, like we could go out whenever we want. And like see each other whenever we wanted. So it's like, it's just like kind of sucky. I think it's just the whole like everything's piling up. So like we can't live at school and now we can't really go out comfortably.
Yeah.
Without worrying about something. But I mean, we'll survive. We're big kids.
Yeah, it's fine. I would much rather do this, like spend the rest of the year at home knowing that the pandemic would subside next year.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like not that big of a deal. However, it is my last semester. Like I'll be graduating after, so spending my last semester in undergrad like this kind of sucks, but that's not that big of a deal in the long run.
Yeah, but it kind of sucks because this means that I will never see Allison ever again in person. Ever.
As like
period.
like on campus, no. Oh
no,
my
like
God.
Ever.
Ever? Okay, we can make that happen.
JK.
Yeah. And my BTS concert got canceled. Or no, wait, postponed. But probably not until like 2025 or something crazy.
Oh my God, that's like,
to be honest,
more than 4 years.
I had like almost front row seats at like the center of the stage. So I can wait. I'll be patient.
Love is patient. Love is kind. I don't know where that's from, but
That sounds so familiar.
I'm watching The Handmaid's Tales or Handmaid Tales or whatever.
How is that?
Really good. It's really good. I'm like, damn, men really hate women. Like, they don't want to teach their women to read.
Yeah, my mom was watching the show and it was intense.
Yeah, and I was like, oh. So another thing is that I had rented a room for this upcoming year up where we go to school. And it was a year's lease, so it was from August 2020 to 2021. And I had like paid the down payment and everything. So that's like money gone. And then I was very excited to move up, and then finding out that we weren't going to move in, I was so worried because I was like, dang, like I signed a contract, like signed the lease and everything. And like, I don't know how strict my landlord would be with like that kind of thing, considering the extreme circumstances. I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna have to message her that I'm not gonna move in, because regardless of like what she would make me do, like it would be less expensive than staying there for a whole year. And then luckily she was really understanding, so I think she's gonna give me my security deposit back. Woohoo. But
here's your woohoo for the episode.
But then I was messaging my would have been roommate or like housemate, and he was like, wait, but what if the school reopens again in spring? Like, where are you gonna live? And I was like, oh shit, that's kind of true, because like where would I live? Because I forgot that they're only closing for the semester, not the year. So I'm like, oh dang, I don't know. So that's something to think about.
It is.
Which brings us to like, what if it doesn't get better? Like, what if it gets worse? Because that's what I'm assuming, that it's not gonna get any better.
Yeah, like I don't think it's gonna really get better until there's a vaccine, because clearly Americans can't handle just being responsible and like not going out and wearing a mask. Like they can't handle that. So I really don't think it's going to get better until there's like this surefire way that you won't get sick. Want to hear something crazy? Like it's either 4 or 5. I think 5.5 like million Americans lost healthcare coverage since the pandemic started. And you know that's because like Americans, they get employer provided health insurance, right? And comparing that to all these other developed countries, like even like Chile, Korea, like Hungary, the UK, like across the world, right? And you combine all of the people in those countries that lost healthcare, you get zero people in those countries lost healthcare. Universal healthcare, like what are y'all afraid of? Like I don't understand. Like y'all see it now, like employer provided health insurance isn't working because if those companies go down, it doesn't work. And And then my parents were talking about like, oh, there's like something called Cobra where if you get fired, you still get health insurance for like a month or two or like a certain amount of time after. But then I was reading, even with Cobra doesn't help that much. So like people still can't pay for these healthcare premiums, even with this like program that's supposed to help them. I'm just saying the American healthcare system is deeply flawed and we need to fix it.
I mean,
and there was the political spiel for this episode.
Actually, let me continue. I'm just kidding. I don't really know. Like, there's been a lot of talk about politics with the whole pandemic. Like, I remember during the beginning where it was getting like really bad. I mean, it's still getting even worse. But during the beginning where like the media coverage was like, it was everywhere. I was talking to my mom about how I was like, I feel like this pandemic and like the loss of health insurance and like people losing their jobs and everything, I feel like it really is uncovering the problems of like capitalism or like this extreme free market capitalism in the US, because you have people like not having jobs, not having money to buy stuff, and it's like so far
it's not reliable.
Yeah, so far as of right now, as of 8:59 p.m. Saturday, July 18th, the year being 2020, John Smith's not John Smith, Adam Smith's invisible hand is not doing shit to fix this.
Oh my god, wait. Okay, on the topic of like economics, my parents and also my sister are really into stocks. Like they think they're day traders at this point, and they are in love with their Amazon stock. And they keep saying, like, even during pandemic, Amazon is doing okay. Like, they're thriving. I don't even know what to say. Just fuck Amazon.
Yeah, like Jeff Bezos, you will be dealt with. But for legal reasons, this is a joke.
This is a joke. I didn't say F Jeff Bezos.
But my invisible hand will deal with you.
God, I hate you. Okay, the thing is with Amazon and capitalism, because people are like, why are y'all hating on Amazon?
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, the way Amazon works, it's as anti-capitalist as possible. Like, it's a freaking monopoly, because the way that Amazon works, it's like supposedly like a marketplace, like the Amazon marketplace. But the thing is when Amazon, they see a vendor selling the specific product, and when that specific product starts selling really well and like gains a lot of popularity, they go directly to whatever vendor or like the manufacturer that vendor is working with, and then they cut out the vendor in that selling process so that the vendor, they're cut out of the process and they just directly sell from the manufacturer. And that's forming a monopoly. Like, that's not the free market.
Also, like, something I was thinking about, and like, I don't know if this is obvious to people, because now that I think about it, I'm like, well, duh, it is kind of obvious. But for those that like don't really understand why we're talking of, or why there's this hatred for Amazon, it, even though like there's so much like people use it, is because it's convenient. And unfortunately, people that don't have the means, like, let's talk about like Amazon Prime. It's 2-day shipping for I don't know how much, like $10 a month, $5 a month. I have students, unfortunately, I'm so sorry, but it's like for people that don't have the means to pay for shipping costs, it's really convenient. So it's kind of like in this system, we're kind of, even though we do have an option, we're kind of coerced into choosing another one because we have limited resources, or there are limited resources. So like, it's so funny because I always get so confused when I look at shipping prices for things, and it's like $15 or it's like 20 or almost like sometimes 40. But that's how much it costs to ship something. Like, that is the cost. And Amazon just kind of like
makes us think that there is no cost. Yeah,
so then we get frustrated at like other vendors for expecting shipping to be free or no more than like $5. So it's just like, it's important to like look at the audience that's like consuming it, but also understand why, because sometimes it's like the only option that they have, or one of the only options that that's present for them.
And I feel like this isn't just like an Amazon specific problem. Like, this is like universal kind of, you know, even with like food, like junk food is really cheap. Like fast food is really cheap, right? But then like poor families, they are coerced to feeding their children like these unhealthy foods, and then you have the like child obesity pandemic thing. Like it's all very much a pattern. And I know the vegans, those vegans that are like, eating vegan is cheaper. It is, but the thing is, like, in a lot of areas those foods aren't even available. So like, also, like, to put it out there, like, people who are vegan that I've noticed, the majority of vegans that I see are mostly like white or upper class, or they have like, they come from like, they're wealthy, they can afford to
which
do
means
it.
that and like, also just to go off of that, a lot of lower class families, like, their parents work, so there's no time to cook vegan meals. So it's like, you need to, it's also important to understand, like, there's just also no time. Like, fast food is convenient, it's cheap and it's convenient, while vegan food, there's not many mainstream vegan chain restaurants. So it's like,
like, there's a reason why like Whole Foods is only in like wealthy neighborhoods
and Trader Joe's.
Oh, also you can see this in like the fashion industry, you know, fast fashion versus getting thrifted stuff, especially now, because like thrifted is becoming like trendy. Like, thrifted clothes are being trendy. I see a lot of like Depop stores or like Instagram stores where they find vintage or like thrifted clothes, but they sell them for crazy prices, and it's like, you're defeating the whole purpose of this. Like, the whole appeal of thrifted clothes is that not only is it sustainable, but it's accessible. Like, that's the whole point.
It's so
like,
funny that you bring up like thrifting and like that kind of stuff. I watched this video from this she's a British YouTuber, but like, she kind of made a video on like the working class aesthetic and how like rich people or wealthy people like, they adopted thrifting and like are making it into like a fashion thing, like looking poor or like looking like you're part of the working class. So to me, it's just very interesting, because it's like, these like white kids, mostly white kids, like people from my high school, they thrift stuff, change something, or don't even change anything, and then sell it for like so much more. And I'm like, the purpose of thrifting was for people who don't have the means to buy new clothes can get secondhand clothes at a cheaper price. And that's just so like, it's just so frustrating, because it's like, how do you like do that and feel good about yourself?
Yeah, because like, I know like, not even just thrifting, okay, like there's like a lot of like sustainable brands and whatnot. Their clothes are really good, but they're very, very expensive, like $150 for one dress. Like, those products are made better, like, it's objectively, like, they are better for the planet and whatnot, but who's gonna spend $160 on a dress when you can buy like something similar for like $20 at like Forever 21? Actually, they're kind of closed down, but y'all get the point. I don't understand. And then like, the people who can afford those sustainable and like expensive clothes, they'll shit on the people who can't. And it's like, oh, so you don't care about the environment. But it's like, I literally cannot buy that dress.
Yeah, that also speaks to like the whole like diet, like being vegan versus not. Like, fast food obviously exploits.
Like, I've seen a lot of things where they're like, oh, there's like frozen vegetables in like the dollar store. Are you really gonna eat dollar store food? Like, let's be real. Like you could be vegan.
Like I would just like to see that vegan eat from the dollar store if they are like.
Yeah, because the mainstream vegan diet is like, you know, acai
or like going out to these
like,
expensive ass vegan restaurants.
Exactly, where it's like $20 for a salad. Like, are you
like,
kidding? This is not accessible.
No, I remember I had two friends in high school. They were both vegan, or I don't know if they still are vegan, but like we went out to this restaurant called Cafe Gratitude, and like, it's all vegan.
Wait,
yeah,
I think
it's
I've heard
all
of
vegan.
That.
But it's so expensive. And like, I went to school in like, I went to a private school, please forgive me, it was against my will, like but I went, and so like, I didn't roll with that crowd really. I don't know if they knew that I didn't have that much money, but like, we would go out to eat, and like, we went there one time and I was like, damn, why is nothing below $15 besides the drinks that are like $10? Yeah,
no
and I was
way.
just like, and this is all vegan, and it's like, in my head, I'm like, if it's cheap eating vegan, then why the heck do people mark up the price so much? Like, meat is expensive.
I don't know.
Or meat should be expensive.
Yeah, like, meat is more expensive than
vegetables.
vegetables.
So I'm like, you know, and I am all for like paying for the labor, but like make it affordable for like people.
Like vegans, like their whole thing, like, I mean, none of us are neither one of us are vegan, and this might sound like we're shitting on vegans, but like, you know, I know like veganism, a lot of people are about it because it's better for the earth and they want more people to get on veganism, and like that's such a great idea. But then at the same time, like you said, these like the type of veganism that is promoted is just not affordable for everyone. It's not accessible for everyone, yet they promote veganism as like a everyone kind of thing.
This is literally like all these problems, they are because there are class divisions.
I know we sound like communists, but we took that like political alignment test and we're both social democrats. Actually, wait, the first time I took it, it was like, you're an anarcho-communist. I'm not. I really don't.
Like, I thought I was more of an anarcho-communist than her.
We're leftists.
Yeah. No, the American political like spectrum is so fucked that I don't even know if I'm like where on the left I fall. Because here in America, I feel like I fall like very far left. But like on a global scale, I'm like, I don't know like if I'm just like in the middle because of like the left here is like the middle globally, or like what it is. Like it's just so skewed.
The way Americans consider Democrats to be left, I disagree. I think I
think Democrats are like really close to Republicans on like the spectrum.
Yeah, I think they are very similar. It's just one has like a little bit more white supremacist flavor than the other. But in terms of like economic leanings, they're very similar. Oh my god, that's so funny. We were like, I miss school. And then now we're like, eat the rich.
Maybe if the rich just like wanted to redistribute their wealth sometime.
I don't understand. No one needs to be a trillionaire. No one needs that much money.
Like, to any of the people that live in like really wealthy areas, Orange County, the wealthies of Orange County, the wealthies of LA, speaking to you, it's just crazy because how can you like, and I know it's not you, but like, don't you feel bad that there are people literally living in the streets, like living in tents and boxes under bridges? There are people in extreme wealth that have more than 2 cars, 3 cars for like, just because, like, I don't know. That's like just how I've always thought about it. Cause I'm like, I always feel bad when I get something nice or I have money. Cause I'm like, fuck, like I'm part of the problem now because I have money.
No, because like the thing is, like, there's one thing like, okay, you've worked for your money, you've acquired your wealth, you know, you followed the rules. I think that's one thing. But on the other hand, Amazon, you don't pay your taxes. Amazon doesn't pay their taxes. So you can say like, oh, Jeff Bezos acquired his wealth legally and he deserves that $1 trillion. No, but he doesn't. He literally does not deserve that wealth. He acquired it through illegal means. He did not pay his taxes.
And unless I see Jeff Bezos in an Amazon warehouse putting my shit in the box, driving his car and dropping it off in 2 days or less, like, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, and he underpays his workers. There's just so much to unpack there. Like, things are not as simple as they might appear. A person is not poor just because they didn't work for it. It's so much deeper than that. And usually it's the extremely rich who did not work.
I mean, just look at, also just like an example of that is looking at the people who are working now and the people who are getting money for doing nothing. Jeff Bezos getting rich, what's he doing though? The man who bagged my groceries today, he's risking his life out there.
What a way to end our podcast on Spotify. And I know we say we're ending on Spotify.
We're gonna keep going on YouTube. We might, if we keep going, we'll go on YouTube. And since we don't have like a limit on YouTube, we'll probably make these a little longer.
It's been a good run.
It has.
Jafeth?
Thank you to our dedicated Spotify viewers. I feel like I've talked more about myself on this podcast in those episodes than like I've talked to my friends, besides you.
Jafeth and I, when we're alone in like a study room, sometimes we just talk, which is why I was like, Jafeth, do you want to start a podcast?
Well, thank you. Thank you, Spotify. Thank you,
Thank you, Spotify. Thank you, SoundCloud. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, YouTube. You can still follow us on our Instagram, our personal Instagrams.
Yeah, if there is a new episode, we will definitely post about it there too. And we'll also post regularly. Ish about updates. Yeah.
The page won't die. So that's the end of the 6th and final episode of Existing on Spotify.
But be sure to check us out on YouTube though. So
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Go check us out on YouTube. Okay.
bye.
Bye bye.